Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah, we are back with the latest edition of Man and Nature. This program is produced by Batrisyia Afrina. I am Shaikh Saifuddeen bin Salleh, your host for the next 30 minutes. We have a very interesting topic for discussion today, which continues our overarching theme on sustainability. And that topic for today is sustainable energy use for artificial intelligence. In order to discuss this very timely topic, Alhamdulillah, we are fortunate to have with us in the studio Associate Professor Dr. Mohd Asyraf bin Zulkifley from the Department of Electrical, Electronic and Systems Engineering, Faculty of Engineering and Built Environment, Universiti Kebangsaan Malaysia or IKIM. Assalamualaikum, Dr. Asyraf.
Waalaikumsalam.
Thank you for being able to spend some time with us to share your views on man and nature.
Thank you. Please, it is an honor for me to visit IKIM.
Alhamdulillah, it is a pleasure to have you in the studio. Dr. Asyraf, let's get on with our discussion. Our topic today is sustainable energy use for artificial intelligence. In terms of environmental impact, could you share with our listeners a picture of how energy intensive artificial intelligence or AI has become globally?
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Saifuddeen. Okay, for the last 10 years, actually, artificial intelligence has made a significant progress from powering up intelligence apps that helps in screening various diseases and automating manufacturing process. So, for the past 10 years, we have a specific domain in AI in which we call deep learnings. So, it started way before 2012, but it became booming after 2012 with the introductions of a advanced AI module. Okay, so however, many of us don't realize that the significant energy demand in powering up the hardware used to process all the data centers. Okay, these data centers usually comes in the formats of parallel computings. So we have lots of cards. GPU cards being aligned together, so we put it somewhere in the data centers so that we can process, we can analyze all the data, and we can train the AI models. Okay, so usually the computing power comes in a very big watts. Okay, for example, the usual RTX 2080, so it used to be around 225 watts, okay? But now, the current generation of GPU, which is RTX 5080, consume 360 watts. That's an increment of 37% over the 7 years. So that's actually a large increment when we consider that an individual components of GPU, okay? In fact, we have around, the data center use around 1 or 2% of electricity produced in Malaysia at the moment. But that's going to spike soon because a lot of application is currently being developed and being deployed. Okay, in Malaysia, unfortunately, we are grateful that our government is actively promoting green technology and set a target of 31% renewable energy capacity by 2025. Okay, this percentage might need to be revised. Okay, because the exponential growth of the AI technology is not being seen before. So we try to predict it. Even a policymaker in AI, we used to make a policy of 5 years, over 5 years. But in AI, we do just only around 1-2 years only, because the developmental phase is very fast. So so the large AI model is expected to be used in Malaysia, and in short, the usage of AI model does require a large energy demand, where the hidden environmental costs have not fully factorized for sustainable usage of AI technology.
Right, Doctor. That makes for me an eye-opening introduction because we're talking about the high energy usage of AI, and also the fact that AI is a rapid progressing technology. So from an Islamic perspective, are there ethical boundaries that Muslims should consider when engaging with high energy technologies like AI?
for sure. As a Muslim, we are bounded actually by the Islamic principles in all of our actions. So from an Islamic perspective, the issue of excessive energy consumption like AI technology is not just an environmental concern, but it is also an ethical issue. Okay, even in Al-Quran has repeatedly warned us against mubazirun, as written in Surah Al-Isra, verse 27. Allah says, "Indeed, the wasteful are brothers of the devils, and ever has Satan been to his Lord ungratefuls." Okay, this verse actually highlights the wastefulness is a serious moral issue that is more aligned with the satanic action rather than the righteousness. Okay, when AI technology consumes massive amount of energy, okay, especially when it is used for lara purposes, okay, so we're creating a lot of fake images which is not useful. Which is not useful and even harmful. So we need to be aware that, okay, that's not the right way to use our energy consumptions, okay. However, the same energy used for unnecessary consumption is for sure is ethically conscious, okay. So another principle in which we as Muslim must observe is wasatiyah. Okay, so that any current consumption should consider sustainable factor. AI technology should be deployed in a way that maintains ecological balance so that our future generation will not be burdened by our mistake. Furthermore, AI researchers must collaborate with Islamic scholars to ensure that the development path of the AI technology is being guided by Islamic principles, okay, and morally justified. Still, many lead researchers in AI are still debating whether AI will bring doom to humanity or not based on the current implementation. We don't know yet.
We don't know yet. But one thing for sure is that a lot of people are using AI. And, when we talk about the usage of energy, definitely there is a threat from AI towards the environment. So can AI be part of the solution in achieving sustainability rather than contributing to more environmental problems?
Absolutely. I agree with that statement. Okay. AI, when developed and applied thoughtfully, can be a powerful force in driving sustainable development. In fact, AI is already being used as a significant role in optimizing various systems critical to the sustainabilities. Okay, various applications is being optimized so that we can have a better environmental impacts. Okay, for example, an algorithm has been applied to enhance the efficiencies of the energy sector. Okay, the power grids is currently being integrated with the renewable energy and what we call it the traditional energy being optimized to reduce the wastage. Okay, even a lot of AI model is currently being used to predict the weather, monitoring soil patterns, and optimize the irrigation plants. So all this activity actually reduce the wastage and hence minimize the impacts to the environmental impacts. However, it is also important to acknowledge that the darker side of the AI developments. Okay, training a large-scale deep learning models often require immense computational power, which in turn consumes energy, mostly from non-renewable sources at the moment. Therefore, in order to AI to be parts of the solutions rather than the problems, the strategic policy must be drafted and must be implemented so that the wastage can be reduced. This is in line also with the Islamic perspective, where Surah Al-A'raf verse 31 warns us, "Eat and drinks, but do not waste. Surely he does not like the wasteful." These commands underscore a divine instruction for balance and moderations. As a researchers, as a technologists and faithful Muslims, we must ensure that our innovation protect the world that has been entrusted to us, not harming it.
Okay, inshallah. I think that's a big task actually as Khalifah. We talk about data centers when it comes to AI. Data centers which we know power much of AI are known to consume vast amounts of energy. So how can we make these centers more sustainable? Are there current innovations in green energy or cooling technologies that can be applied to data centers?
Okay, data centers are often referred as the brains of the digital worlds. Okay, it used for storing, processing enormous amounts of data that power everything from search engines and AI algorithms. However, these infrastructures come with a heavy environmental costs. Okay, indeed, data center consume a vast amount of electricity, often more than a small countries. Okay. So most of the energy usage come from two purposes. Okay, so we need to power up the hardware and we need to cool down the hardware. This is the two main aspects in which we need to use energies in our data centers. Okay, to address the first issue, which is to power up the hardware. Okay, several innovation strategies have been widely adopted. Okay, even our Malaysia's plans for renewable energy is in line with these plans. So major tech companies are increasingly investing in renewable energy like solar, wind, and hydroelectric power to operate their data centers rather than based on the coal power plants.
Right.
So furthermore, countries like Sweden, Finland, all the northern countries, which is generally cold in a cold weather, so they become very popular to be the location for the data centers. Okay, because they are naturally cool weather and climate, and also their government itself also promote the green technologies. Okay, so that's in terms of aspect of powering up the data centers. Okay, so on the other hands, when we run all of our AI algorithms with the parallel computings, okay, for sure excessive heat will be produced. Okay, even in our labs, we used to have the problem of this issue where we need to supply additional fans just to power up our local GPU in order to train our AI models. So apart from generic A-based, what we call A-based cooling system, we have like a non-conductive liquid, okay, which can improve the heat transfer that allows the cooling faster. Okay, so additionally, AI-driven energy management is currently being implemented. Okay, so actually we don't need to run all of our AI model during the days. Okay, we can actually stop it and run it after the nights. Okay, in which where the cooling demand is a little bit low compared to during the day afternoon. So this is one way in which we can optimize the energy usage and reduce the waste at the same time. Some facilities now even exploring circular economy models, such as northern countries. Okay, some facilities they use the what we call the residual heat that being produced for other purposes. Okay, it is used to power up their heater. It is used to power up their energy facilities. So this is like a circular technology in which the residue is being put for good use. Thus, making data centers sustainable is not just a technical challenge, but also an ethical obligation. As Muslim involved in science and technology, we must ensure our infrastructure reflect our responsibility to protect and preserve the earth for our current and future generations.
I think the thing is, the reality is a lot of people are using AI as users, but many are not aware that every single usage of AI technology is actually producing heat. And even I think Sam Altman that said that even if you prompt with the word please, it will produce thank you. It will produce a lot of energy that actually contributes towards global warming. So anyway, Doctor, do you think the current AI development race among nations is overlooking the environmental cost?
Okay, we are in the era of digitals. Okay, I would like to bring this issue in a broader perspective. Okay, whereby I will highlight now. Even now, United Nations has drafted a lot of AI policies recently. Okay, however, I would like to point out also this advanced AI model is recently being developed. Okay, even it is booming in 2012, but still. When we start to using a good data center is 2016 something above. So it is quite recent. It's quite recent, and it is expected that the policy is currently being fine-tuned, being polished to suit our requirement. Even I believe that it will be again fine-tuned for the future, because AI policy is booming at a fast rate. So we are not able to predict it accurately, the plans for the AI. So I have worked with the United Nations Internet Governance Forums for the last 2 years actually to draft a policy on AI for sustainable and environmental impacts. So what we do actually, we drafted a policy which is a very long, around 100 pages of policy, and we share our policy during the IGF meetings every year. So during the meetings, okay, we invite a lot of European Parliament members, okay, some company from Google's, okay, they are the one that critiques on our policy, because we can suggest some things, but sometimes it is not really in lines with their current needs. So at least we are trying to fine tune and polish the policy at the moment. So I believe that the global risk actually is there. I mean, a lot of countries, especially the top two, China and US, is currently competing to harness the AI potential for various purposes: defense, healthcare, finance, and other sectors. Okay, but training a large model is currently require a lot of computations, require a lot of energy. Okay, but I would like to highlight also, in any developmental process, okay, usually we will not consider the environmental impacts, okay, like our car developments. It used to be high engine capacity, it used to be fuel guzzler, but now it is with the turbo technology, we can drive efficiently our small car, even with EV now, okay. So I believe that patterns going to translate it to the AI technology. So at the moment, we are trying to downsize the models, we are trying to train the models by using effective ways and architectures and also algorithms. Okay, so dissect technology actually is a very small model compared to the ChatGPT, and they managed to perform relatively well even with the current state of the art of ChatGPT. Therefore, I would like to highlight that most governments will prioritize the economic advantage, but we are moving towards the awareness of the environmental impacts of AI, so that the AI technology will not bring dooms to our future generations.
As you highlighted, AI policy is dynamic because there's a lot of fine-tuning from time to time because of the rapid pace of the development of the technology. So, in your opinion, what role can policy and ethical guidelines play in encouraging tech companies to adopt sustainable practices in their data infrastructure?
Okay, that's a nice question, interesting questions. Okay, policies, ethical guidelines are the backbones of the responsible innovations. Okay, so we need to have been guided by the policies and ethical guidelines. Without them, technology progress can become reckless, where we prioritize only the profits, especially for the large company. Okay, in the AI industry, especially where the environmental impacts of computing is significant, strong regulation frameworks and ethical foundation are very essential. Government need to play a major role by mandating carbon disclosure of this technology, as well as offering green energy incentive. Okay, we need to have a push and pull factor. Okay, we contribute to them and also incentivize them and also punish them. We need to have these two in order to ensure that this policy become not just a choice, but an expectation in AI developments.
So it's a carrot and stick situation.
Carrot and sticks, bad cop, good cops. Okay. So, however, okay, regulation alone is not enough. Okay, because regulation is being created by us human. So we need some sort of ethical guidelines which is a higher levels compared to our human brains, okay, that needs to be embedded into the design and developments of the technology. Here where Islam offer valuable insights, okay, insight. So not just our brains, but we also being guided by the Al-Qur'ans. Okay, the principle of maslahah comes into consideration when we're developing any technology, and similarly, the principle of amanah also lead us to realize that our earth is a trust from Allah, okay, not a resource that we can exploit without caring all the environmental impacts, all the impacts to the younger generations. So in Surah Al-Baqarah, verses 205, Allah described the corrupt. And when he goes away, he strives throughout the land to cause corruption therein and destroy crops and animals. And Allah does not like corruptions. Okay, so this is a very powerful message. Well, with very powerful warnings, such that we shouldn't do the irresponsible behavior in developing this technology. Therefore, it needs to be embedded both strategic policies and Islamic ethical value that can steer AI developments towards sustainability. Okay, it is worth to note that I like this phrase actually. Ethics without enforcement is weak, but policy without values is blind. So you need both of them. It needs to be combined and embedded together in order to shape a more responsible and balanced future.
Right. I think you put it nicely with that phrase that you shared with us. So when it comes to Muslim countries or Muslim majority countries, how can these countries balance technological advancement in AI with sustainable development goals?
Okay, this actually is very important aspect in which we need to be aware of. Okay, Muslim majority countries are uniquely positioned to lead in ethical and sustainable AI developments. Okay, so with abundant natural resources and a rich intellectual heritage, our Muslim nation actually can craft the AI technology and be the leader of this technology if we plan it well and execute it well. Okay, however, okay, I would like to highlight also that as a Muslim countries, we need to put some investment in this green research and developments. Okay, we need to put the funds. Okay, AI centers in this nation, is Muslim countries, need to be powered up by renewable energy like solar, wind, hydroelectrics. We need to start from now, which are resources that many Muslim nations are currently blessed with. Okay, in Gulf country, for sure, they have all the solar technologies in which they use it very effectively. I think they are doing very well actually, even for their desalination factories, everything. So AI factories, everything. So they are doing well actually. Secondly, okay, in order Muslim countries to contribute in these aspects, actually, we need to embed the sustainability components during our education, even during the primary schools. Okay. Universities and Islamic institutions need to point out this issue and ethical implementation of AI alongside the technical aspect. Okay, we need to have also this ethical issue and the technical aspect. Thus, we are not just building the capacity, but ensure our future tech leaders are morally grounded. Okay, so another component in which a Muslim country can contribute is we should strive towards a formation of Islamic-based technological ethical councils. Okay, even in the EU, they have developed this. They have a council for ethical AI usage. But as a Muslim, I think we should pioneer this issue. Okay, where we need to have a strategize rather than let it be to be chance. I mean, we need to come and ensure that this council role actually promotes developments in AI, but abide the rule of Islamic values such as justice, adil, balance, and also rahmah. Okay, maybe we can also implement the Madani for in line with our current government policy. Okay, rather than blindly following the Western philosophies. Okay, in which for sure they are capitalists. The environmental impacts is a secondary options for them. Okay, so we need as a Muslim country to be the leader and charting our own path that harmonize the economic progress with spiritual responsibility. Okay, we must prioritize the barakah in our actions, especially for the large sheer developments like AI technology, ensuring that our technological advancements uplift the humanity, and the honor that Allah Trust has placed on us is being used effectively. And it is sad to say that currently we are not the leading nations. Not the Muslim country are not the leading researchers in these aspects.
Right. I like the word barakah when you mentioned in answering the question. So I think this has to do with my next question and perhaps my final question to you. As AI becomes more embedded in our lives, how can individuals as well as communities, what can we do to promote responsible and sustainable AI usage? You know, this is important for us to obtain barakah in whatever that we do.
Thank you for the last question. I believe maybe the second last or last question. Okay, while much focus has been fine-tuned towards the government responsibility, private company responsibility, but we need also to be aware that as an individual, as a small unit of community, we need also contributes to the vital roles in ensuring responsible and sustainable use of AI. Okay, first and foremost, the awareness is very important as individuals. Okay, you have said it before. Saint Elman has said that when you do promptings, please, thank you, I think we can drop that because that's going to cost us millions. Okay, even though it's not directly ethical, but yes, in terms of the trade-off where you need to put all the filler words, actually we can save a lot. So we need to be aware of all the filler words so that we don't use it and we don't encourage our kids to use the filler words. Okay. And many of us are still unaware that our everyday actions, actually, such as uploading photos towards the data centers, streaming videos, just we are doing some mundane activity, streamings, and then use the AI apps without just for logo purposes. Okay, this digital services actually is being powered up by data center. So if we are doing it without any purposes and valid purposes, we are going to waste a lot of energy. Okay, so individual can start supporting this and be mindful of this issue. Okay, we need to turn off the idle devices. We need to avoid unnecessary downloads and streamings. Okay, so all the filler words can be neglected because it's going to cost us a lot. Okay, because our data center is the brain. So if we fill up with the rubbish informations, it's going to cost us a lot. Okay, so on the other hand, okay, small communities, especially through our units of parents, okay, parentings for our kids, for our big families, okay, so we can introduce and we can start talking about these ethical topics, in tech topics to children and youth on how to use the technology responsibly and spiritually. In fact, we have done this cyberbully initiative in a school, various school in Malaysia. So we try to ensure that, okay, please use the AI technology responsibility and don't do bullies. Okay, so we encourage them to ask from the young age, okay, is this use of AI or apps, intelligent apps, pleasing to Allah? Does it benefit humanity positively? Okay, does the community will benefits from our actions? We need to let the kids to think from the young age. Okay, so community can also support local green startup. Okay, so that advocate ethical AI policy and participate in public consultations. Okay, so in fact, consumer pressure. Okay, this is very important, especially in the era of virals. Consumer pressure or viral pressure can push the company to be more transparent on how they power up their AI technology and how the impacts towards the sustainables. Okay, from Islamic points of view, every action, no matter how small is it, it will be surely counted in front of Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Promoting responsible AI is today equivalent of planting positive seedlings for our future. Even if we feel small compared to the scale of the tech industry's contributions, but our choice today is going to shift the community culture for future better sustainable prospects.
Right. Doctor, we are running out of time, but I still like to hear from you if you can give us some concluding remarks to our discussion today.
Okay, so as a conclusion, okay, it's concise conclusions, okay, AI is not inherently good or bad. It's like all the tools in the world, okay. If the tools is being used for goodness for the humanity, then it becomes a good tools. It is what you call it, it's a hasanah for us, okay. But if the tool is being used to harm us, then it's become bad to us as a humanity. Okay, so it depends on how we choose to use this AI technology. As a Muslim, I would like also to highlight that we are not just to innovate, but also to innovate the technology with conscience, compassion, and responsibility. Okay, the Quran tells us in Surah Al-Ahzab, verse 72, indeed, we offer the trust to the heaven and the earth and the mountains. but they declined to bear it and fear it. But as human undertook it, indeed he was just unjust and ignorance. This is a very strong message in which all this trust and amanah actually include this AI technology, our resources, and for surely our planets. Okay, AI must be shaped by ethical frameworks, and that's why Muslim scientists must lead in these technological developments so that we can be and we can show the world that AI progress and piety can coexist harmoniously. Okay, let us promote the ethical use of AI with faith and foresight. May our innovation be beneficial, our intention pure, and our legacy is the one that focusing on care, not harm. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Salam. Thank you very much, Dr. Asyraf, for your, I would say, very passionate sharing on man and nature, on our topic, sustainable energy use for artificial intelligence. I believe we have actually learned a lot from our discussion, and definitely have highlighted a number of points regarding the need to use and develop AI technology in a sustainable and responsible manner. We have now come to the end of this week's edition of Man and Nature. I would like to thank again Associate Professor Dr. Mohd Asyraf bin Zulkifley, our special guest for today's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, for the last 30 minutes, you've been listening to Man and Nature. I'm Shaikh Muhammad Saifuddeen bin Shaikh Muhammad Salleh, signing off until next week. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.